It's 5:01. Mr. Davis, would you like to do an invocation for us?
Sure. Fine. Everybody please stand. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for being with us today. Thank you for allowing us to come together and make decisions that are best for this county and best for our students in this organization, Lord. Thank you as we continue to gather and work hard to have a great launch of the school year. Be with us as we transition in the next 10 days and 15 days in order to prepare and make sure that kids have a place where they're welcomed and have a place where we care for them every single day, Lord. We thank you for everything you've done for us and our families, Lord. Be with us as we continue to have a great meeting. In Jesus Christ we pray, amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll now call to order the school board meeting, special meeting for August 1st. I'd like to say welcome to the citizens of Clay County. Take this opportunity to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to attend the school board meeting. This meeting is our opportunity as your elected representatives to collaborate openly and make decisions that will decide the future direction of our public schools and the education of our children in Clay County. If you wish to address the board, there will be an opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. Please fill out a card, which you will find located in the back of the room, indicating the specific item number or topic you wish to speak about, and turn it in promptly. Your participation is welcomed and appreciated. Today's agenda is our budget for Dr. Legutko. So our first item is to review the proposed millage, rollback, rate calculation, and the 2017-18 tentative budget, all funds. Thank you, Dr. Legutko.
Thank you. Okay. All right, today's meeting is primarily to accept the tentative millage rates and to adopt the tentative budget. Primarily, this presentation is a shortened version of the presentation that was done on July 20th. So, as we're going through this, when you have questions, please feel free to ask me. If not, I am going to zoom through this presentation, okay? All right. So let's get started. Again, in the presentation, one of the items that I presented earlier was our timeline. The key to this slide is really to identify what we've done already, which is the check marks, and then the last item is the public hearing, which will be scheduled for September 7th, and that is going to be one of your action items at the end of this presentation. This slide represents the overall budget. This budget is a total of, okay, I'm not going to look at it, can you hear me? $386,389,412. Within this budget, there are 4 major funds. It's the general fund, which represents about $297,072,373, which is our largest fund within the district. What's the matter? Oh, okay. Look. All right. Again, the second fund, which is the special revenue fund, are those special funds, federal funds, such as Title I, Title II, Title III, those federal funds, and of course food service, which is our 410 fund. It's combined within that special revenue. And the third fund is our debt service, which is where the fund that is used to secure our debt, make our annual payment. And of course the final is the capital projects, which is primarily funded through LCIF and impact fees. This slide represents the history of our millage levies and district ad valorem tax revenue for Clay County. As you can see from this slide, we're going in the wrong direction, or in a different direction. If you look at going back to 2000, our millage rate was a total of 8.941. Big difference compared to the current year, 17-18. We're proposing to adopt the required local effort of 4.190. And of course, you know, that if you look at the difference from 2000, it's 6.1 versus 4.1. Therefore, it's going in the wrong direction. We're not generating a whole lot of dollars locally to fund education. Oops, sorry. This is a summarized version of a comparison from last year to current year. Last year, our millage rate was 6.762. That includes our LCIF, Local Capital Improvement, of 1.50. It generated about $70 million. Compared to the 17-18 proposed millage of 6.438, we will generate $608 million. Now, the reason for the increase, which is about $1 million increase, is due to the property increase, the property values. It's not as a result of the millage rates, as you can see clearly. We're taking a reduction of a negative 3.24. What that means to our local homeowners is that last year you paid, if your home was about $100,000 in value, you paid $672.20 per mill. I mean, based on the 6.72 millage, you paid $676.20. This year, if your home remained the same value of $100,000 with the millage rate of 6.438, you will pay for school district taxes $643.80. It's a reduction from prior year. You will save $32.40 in this tax bill. Again, this is the explanation of the rollback rate. Our rollback rate was negative 0.47. What that means is that last year you paid $676.20. If we had a tax increase, the rollback rate is that rate we would need to use to apply to the calculation to determine the millage that would generate the same amount, the $676.20. In our case, it's a tax reduction, therefore we don't want to use any sort of rollback rate unless you want to pay more taxes. It's up to you. Not really, it's not up to you. This is what we're dealt with. Okay, again, this is a summary of our proposed millage rate for 2017-2018. Our required local effort is 4.190. Will generate approximately $46,715,185. Our basic discretionary, 0.748, will generate $8,339,608. And our LCI, Local Capital Improvement, will generate at 1.50. Will generate $16,723,813. Note that in the bottom, I made some notes there where it talks about school districts are required to budget only 96% of those dollars. So based on the 96, our budget is going to reflect about $68,907,461. I shared with you what 1 mil will generate, which is 11,149,208.79, and at 96%, 10,703,240.44.
Dr. Legutko, would you pause for a moment? Ms.
Yes.
Fuller, did you have a question?
You were talking before, and I didn't know what was going on
Oh.
up here when I was listening to her.
Sorry. Go ahead, thank you.
And based on that, I wanted to to share with you the overall budget that was advertised in the newspaper this past week. Okay, now we'll get into the general fund. What makes up the budget? And again, this is going to be really, we've gone through this, nothing has changed from the last presentation. The revenue remained the same. There's local revenue. Total local revenue will be $55,275,898 for the upcoming year. This is projected, as always. The state revenue is $213,182,967. So in other words, for the required local effort, the $61 million, I believe it was 61 I said, I'm sorry, hold on, let me get back there. A lot of numbers to remember. Okay, so the $55,054,793, that makes up the 4.190 millage and the .748. That's our local dollars that we're to generate. So in order to participate in the FEFP, the state FEFP finance program, and generate the dollars that we receive, to the tune of $170,144,478, the school district as local has to generate $55,054,793 to participate in the program. The next slide here just reiterates our federal revenue, our impact aid funds. It's about $400,000. Medicaid, $1.1 million. Most of these, of course, these dollars are restricted specific to the program. So our total revenue we're expecting or projecting for next year, for the 17-18 year, is about $270,208,866. This slide just represents the breakout of how our revenue is generated. Again, you can see the state dollars, $213 million, which represents 78% of our funding. Local is 20%, and then, of course, the other financing sources is about 1%. This slide represents our, just a summarized version of our revenue. Do we have a question? Oh, you were smart. I just... of our revenues of $270,208,866. Of course, there's a comparison to the last 2 years, of course. The first year, 15-16, is audited. The 16-17, we're still under review. We're still finalizing all of our books, so therefore this is all tentative. So our total funds available is going to be, using our beginning fund balance, $292,972,342, less our expected expenditures and appropriations of $277,379. That would leave us with about a $19 million fund balance to work with. Within that fund balance, of course, there's restricted, unrestricted, and assigned dollars that we will identify. It's categoricals, it's part of proration, our FTE shortfall, inventory, encumbrances, projects, restricted projects, all those items are in that number. Okay, next slide. Okay, then we're looking at expenditures, a comparison of our expenditures for the last 2 years, and of course our tentative, what we're projecting to spend for 17-18. And if you will recall, in my last presentation, I had detailed information related to each object code so that you can identify what those expenditures were and the variances of what caused those variances in the last meeting. This slide is new. It's a slide that sort of represents where our dollars are being spent. And as you can see, 68% of our dollars are going directly into instruction. 10% is going into our instructional support. 8% is direct support, which is district office, Board of Education, General Administration. I've given you the categories down there so you can compare it with the previous slide so you'll know where those numbers are coming from. Okay? And again, this slide represents our expenditures by object. and we went over those variances. Nothing has changed from the last meeting. And this is how our dollars are being spent. The majority of our dollars are spent in salaries and benefits. It makes up 79% of our overall general fund budget. Okay, now we get into debt service. Pretty much this slide represents our total debt for this year. Not this year, just our total debt. We have about $47 million in debt principal, and our interest is about $10.8 million. A total debt of about $58,226,162. Next slide represents what our annual debt payment represents, and that's about $5.2 million. It's steady. But as you can see, the comparison to the last 2 years, it's about the same, give or take. Next fund is the capital projects. Again, we've gone through this. This is our revenue. It's generated through property, our LCIF, local capital improvement, sales tax, and impact fees. Our state revenue is our PICO dollars, gas tax, CONDS. The charter school capital outlay is a separate funding source, but it has to be recognized in our revenue source when it comes through the district. We're just a flow through. There's nothing for next year because we do not have those numbers yet. Again, this is how we are expected to spend our dollars for next year. Current year. As you can see, the majority of our funds will be in building and fixed equipment. Okay, and then again, this is just a summarized version of our revenues coming in, our beginning fund balance, our revenues to be brought in, less our appropriations, and where we will end up at the end of the fiscal year, projected, of course. The next fund is the 410, which is our food service. Revenues, expenditures. Well, this is just our revenue. Total revenue, $16 million to be brought in. Expected to spend about 16.3. As you can see, the majority of the expenditures will be in food and supplies, which is consistent with the prior year, as well as salaries and benefits. And their summarized version, which represents where their fund balance will be, which is $3.7 million. It's consistent with National School Lunch Program, where they are required to at least have 2 to 3 months of expenses within in their fund balance to maintain. This slide represents our federal programs, Title I, Title II, Title III. Some of these are still unknown. We're waiting for some information from the state. They were a little late in giving us information this year, so by September we should have all of our final numbers. This slide represents how we're going to spend our dollars. As you can see, the majority of the expense will be in salaries and benefits. And we're here to our next steps, which is, of course, to open and close the floor, board action, and then to adopt the proposed millage rates and approve the tentative budget, and then set the final public hearing for September 7, 2017, to adopt the final millage rate and the budget for 2017-2018. And again, all of this is still tentative. It is subject to change, and it will change from now till September 7th. Thank you.
Thank
Any
you, Dr.
questions?
Legucco. Does anybody have a question for Dr. Legucco? No. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I do have a card from Ms. Paiva, but Ms. Paiva, what I'll do is open the public hearing and you can speak. Don't need the 3-minute timer then. So at this time, I will open the public hearing for comments on the 2017/2018 budget and millage. Anybody would like to speak? Ms. Paiva?
Good evening, Brenly Paiva, President of the CCEA, and I have quite a few things that I'd like to speak about on this budget. We have always been a people organization. You all know that. I mean, Mrs. Adams used to say it over and over and over again. And from 2007 to 2015, we really were a people organization. We spent on salaries and benefits 87% of the total budget, 88%, 88%, 87%, 88%, 88%, 88%, 86%. That's what education's about. Every child will remember their teacher. Not every child will remember the program they were in, but they sure as heck will learn because of the teacher. And that's what it's about. I am vastly upset, and my apologies for being away and not being able to get this at the ground level and speak to it, that we have allocated to the people of this organization 79% of the budget. And I think it's a trend. I think it's a trend through public education in the state of Florida and probably nationally. I think it's a demonization of teachers. I think teachers are not held to the same respect that they were when we were children. And it's disturbing. And I need to say to you the number of calls I've received and things I've received that's directly affecting our personnel. Not only the teachers, the support, and the administrators. Because when you break up your salaries and benefits, it's everybody. It's your administrators, it's your support, and it's your teachers. So we've budgeted for salaries and benefits 79% of the total budget. We have less than a budget from 2007 to now. We were so concerned in 2009, 10, 11, and 12 that we actually put a $250,000 in for operating expenses. And we have more money now than we had then, but we were so concerned that we asked the county commissioners to go ahead and assess something we've not had the nerve to do. Last year I spoke about it. The year before that, I spoke about it. The year before, and I swear to God, I wasn't going to come up here and speak about it. But I again have to ask, you must support education. That's your job. Your job, you're the school board, and you have to probably put the money out there. The legislators keep rolling it back, rolling it back, rolling it back. As Dr. Legetko said, used to be 7, the levy, and now we're at 4 point something. We budgeted $44 million for employee benefits. That's all your employees. We budgeted $44 million last year for employee benefits. We spent $42 million. So that says that we're not increasing any benefits. We're not going to increase the benefits, and then I look on the website and we see where insurance has gone. We went to United Health, and one of the things of the contract with United Health was they could not increase their contract with you more than 10%. So they're locked into 10%. Here's the problem. Your employees are assuming every bit of that. The school board has not increased their contributions to health insurance for the last 7 years. So 7 years ago, what you give now is exactly what you gave then. It always makes me laugh in the school board, on the website, because it says up to collective bargain. We can't even collective bargain that, because it's totally your call. It is totally your call what you're going to pay on your contract. Let's take a look at people around us. So right now, the school board in Clay County is paying $5,169.80 for every employee that takes just their insurance. There are a bunch of employees that take their husband's insurance, their wife's insurance, their domestic partner's insurance, so you don't pay anything for. But other people that you do pay, you pay $5,169. Alachua pays $6,109, and they have two plans. They have a $750 deductible on one of their plans and a $1,500 deductible on another plan. Our deductible is $6,500. They pay 100% of their employees, so the employee pays nothing in Alachua County. Not only that, they give every employee $750 on what's called an HRA. Dr. Luckett, you know what that is? Anyway, some sort of savings account.
It's a health reimbursement account. It's used differently.
Right. So every year they give $750 to every employee to a maximum of $5,000. And when they reach, and if the employee leaves the county, they take the $5,000 with them. That's Alachua County. Duval County, flatly, 100%, they pay 100% for their employees, and they pay $7,450 in Duval County. You pay $5,100. Let's talk about St. John's, because they're the kicker. St. John's pays $5,987.85 for their single employees. For their families, both working in the county, they pay $14,461.85. For their employee that has a family coverage, they pay $11,934.47. This is a result of 7 years of not doing anything because we didn't have to. Just because we don't have to doesn't make it right. Our employees, and I'm just going to talk about the HMO, our employees are going to see an increase, they're going to lose a decrease in their paycheck of either $684.40, and I'm just talking about single employees. I'm not talking about the family coverage because I can't. It makes me cry. $614.40 or $560.20. It is very difficult to negotiate when half of your employees don't take the health benefits. So it's a very difficult thing to ask anybody, to ask CESPA, well, I don't know what the administrators do, they're just rolling, to ask anybody to negotiate when we have nothing to negotiate with. It's totally your call. It's how you value your employees. And I'm going to leave that with you to decide. But I went and I've looked at all the counties around us, and I cannot believe that they value their employees more than you do, because that's not what we do in Clay. We really do care about our people. I know what we do. We actually do. But we have to do something with this health insurance. And you know what? They can't even figure it out in Washington. We have Levy County. Levy County, I don't think they're a quarter of what we are. They're extremely small. They're self-insured. How does a little tiny county like Levy County get self-insured? We got to think outside the box. We got to do something about this, because if not, then really, you got to take the $690. You only gave $700 last year for highly effective. And so really, our people are going backwards. They're at zero. So in order for them to have a raise, they've got to get more somewhere in collective bargaining, more than $700. $700 is zero. All the counties in the state of Florida are negotiating at $1,900, $2,000. I had this conversation the other day with another teacher, and what's coming in the FEA is $1,900. That's the base salary. That's what their salary increases are. We don't even have the nerve to talk that in Clay County. So I really don't know what we're doing. We've got to do something. You got 700 portables out there over 20 years old. You don't want to raise a millage. You don't want to do anything to raise taxes because that's so unpopular. But you have to fund public education. And that's your mandate. And that's what you have to do. But your employees are going to suffer this year. I really don't know how you retain them. Except I do know. Because they love the kids and they love what they do. I'm asking you to go and take another look at this budget before you pass it, to think outside the box, You might, have the conversations with your political friends all over the place, down the road, they're meeting, 6 o'clock. Run down there, have a conversation with them, but we cannot continually just diss the people that work in this county. We're going to lose. I had to tell Mr. Broski this week, go ahead and hire people out of field. 75 openings you have, and we're going to hire out of field. Is it the same playing field? No. Charter schools, do they have to hire certified people? No. They do not. They can hire anyone that they choose. We have always stuck to, we're going to hire in-field people. And this year, I just say to Mr. Broski, go ahead, let's do what we can do, because I'm not going to put a substitute in a classroom for an extended period of time with our children. So I need you to look back at this. I am sorry I'm late on the game here, but seriously, our people are going to suffer. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Paiva.
Wait, whoa.
Ms. Stutter?
Ms. Paiva, could I ask her a question? Could I ask you something? I'm just curious, on these counties that you gave us, Alachua, Duval, St. John's, I think that was it.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
happen to know what insurance company they are with?
Well, St. John's is self-insured.
Okay.
I want to guess what Alachua is, and I don't know what Duval is. Who do they have? Florida Blue.
And you think Alachua is self-insured?
I want to say they are, but I'm not 100% sure they are.
Ms.
I was-
Condon,
I
do
was
you
just
know?
curious.
I
as to-
think that they are in that conglomerate that used to be AvMed, and then AvMed dissolved, and so I think they have that whole thing with their county commission, their city commission, their City of Gainesville employees. I think they have a big, so when you go to negotiate,
Okay, I'm not sure about that. Speaking to their president today,
I will find out
but
too.
we can find out what they are, but we've
I was
kicked
just
that
curious.
around. We've kicked it around to be self-insured. We used our extra money 2 years ago, or a year ago, Dr. Legecko, to bail out our self-insured, the other one, so we had to bail it out with $4 million. But all I know is $700 to our employees is zero. That does not move them along, and that is not fair. No company works that way.
I believe when I asked the question, and I want to say maybe 12 to 15, 18 months ago, we don't qualify to be self-insured because of the amount that you have to now by state law
5 million?
have in reserve. You have to have a certain amount reserved for your certain amount of claims or something, but we can still ask some questions and see what some of these other districts do to have better rates
I think
for their
it's 5 million,
employees.
Dr. Legecko, and, you have increased your fund balance by $6 million.
Right, so we need 5 million separate from whatever our reserves are.
Current
for the
reserve is.
3%.
Dr. Legecko, when you did that 10 million up there for a whole mill, what was that what was that for?
The 96% of the one,
Of the reserves.
So that's what a mill would get us,
right.
$10 million.
Yes,
Thank you.
1 mil.
Thank you, Ms. Paiva. I agree with what she said. It's too bad we couldn't do something with our county commission like Alachua County does. I know the commissioners have a good policy. We need to look into it, but we're locked in. Are we locked in for 3 years? Ms. Condon, you were on that committee.
I don't think we're locked in for any amount of time other than a plan year. If we want to change, Sheila always tells us we really have to decide pretty soon in the fall because it takes so long to go out for a bid.
Well, I think the problem was we've changed so many times. Wasn't there something about our reading or something with that?
It-
So the consistency of claims.
Right, and the fact that we have so many employees, when we did put it out for bid, only 3 bid on it, Aetna, Florida Blue, and United Healthcare. And as I recall, Aetna was actually less money, but the rebates that United Healthcare was offering made that a more attractive program. Remember last year we were able to give the employees the 1-month holiday in January, or this past school year. So we, as a committee, they brought that recommendation to the board.
And look what we're doing to them this year.
I
Yeah.
have a question.
Worse, this is terrible.
And I hate to say this, but this was because I read something on Facebook. all right, and I think Ms. Piva may have said something about it too, that they were only supposed to go up 10% this year, and I think it was on Facebook that they were saying that it was going up 24 or 34%. Is that true?
Yes.
And if that's true, how can that be if the agreement was that they were to go up 10%?
Well, I believe this.
Could you use your microphone? Microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Is it on? Yes. I believe the agreement, if I recall, it was the first year 10%. The following year, it would go up another increase of whatever that percentage is. It was the 10%. Their max was 10. They went up 10.
But this is only the second year, which means
This is the
next
second,
year we're
which
looking
is
at
what it
another
was stated in the negotiations, my
You
understanding.
mean there was no cap on the second year?
This is the cap, the 10%.
This is a,
It's a matter of.
This is 10%, but
It's a matter
then
of,
why
the
is it
whole
going up
amount
30?
of the premium only went up 10%, but that doesn't mean the individual plans. So
Right.
the three different plans we have, they may have gone up at different rates. So you could have someone on the high deductible health plan that theirs may have gone, and I don't know, I haven't looked at it, so I really am speaking without knowledge. But, so for instance, the high deductible health plan could go up 24%. They could see an increase in that, where maybe the PPO only went up the 10%.
That just doesn't seem fair.
We can't, that's,
and through the chair, I'm sorry to interrupt. My understanding is that, is this the last year
one more.
of this?
I believe there's one more year.
One more extended. So I have a call to Greg Reedy, who is the CEO of United Healthcare. I'm going to have a real heart-to-heart conversation and see if we can do something for this year. We fully understand the 30-day relax that they gave us last year, but hopefully that we can build a connection and have a resolution by next week of what they could potentially do for us. So all of our employees, including administrative staff, member support staff, do not have to be, I guess, set back by this increase. Even though my understanding is that this is prior to me coming in, is that this was informed to all employees. But I understand it comes to reality. I'm impacted by this as well. So,
And the point that, as Ms. Piva was pointing out, that increase that we gave last year is now null and void. And there are teachers that are friends of mine who are making less than what they made 5 and 6 years ago, based on this continuous increase in the health benefits. When I first entered into the health benefits, I think my actual cost was $7 a paycheck. This year it's going to be more around the lines of $79 per paycheck, and that's absolutely ridiculous.
Can you look at the district covering more than what we are and bring back some numbers to us? I mean, I know this is tentative and that we don't adopt the final budget until September 7th, so let's see what we can correct or at least help.
yes, ma'am.
We've
now and
got to
then.
do something for our
Can't-
employees.
can't do
This
this.
is
So through the chair, and I'll say this, we are with the retirement rate percentage that we have to pay going up. We're kind of pushed a little bit. So, but whatever we can do, we'll try to do it. But we did set a little bit of money aside by trying to compensate every employee in this district, from support staff to instructional staff to administrative staff, because they haven't received compensation as well.
I caution you, if you're talking anything collective bargaining, you need to stop.
yeah,
Okay.
whoa.
Ms. Piva, would you like to come to the microphone?
I just want to clarify, because, Ms. Condon and I were on that same committee. Into fairness with United Health, our actual loss was 34%. Our actual loss for our premiums was 34%. We probably, if we didn't have the 10% cap, we probably would have negotiated to maybe 20%. 20% is your contract with them. The plans are going up 20 to 40% because you don't contribute anything that you have. You're stable. $258, that's what you did in 2009. And that's what you're doing now. Well, insurance keeps going up, and I blame us for that, because it used to say 100%. We put a number to it with the thing the school board saying to us was, we're always going to be behind our employees. And honest to God, I could choke some people on that one, all right? I could, because we should have never gave up that language. And that's on us.
And through the chair, I'll say this, is that what we currently have, and trust me, I wish I had more money to help it now, and we'll see what we can do, but this really stifles the ability to recruit highly qualified talent every day. We have offered probably a number of jobs in the last 30 days that individuals will not take it due to the fact that they are compensated in a more attractive way as relates to insurance, and they will take a major step back. So we'll look into it.
We must do something.
Thank you. Was there any other discussion? Would anybody else like to speak on this item before I close the public hearing? All right, hearing none, I will close the public hearing and bring it back to the board. At this time, the next, the next 5 items, each of you have a form in front of you, and we will adopt the required local effort, basic discretionary, local capital improvement, and total millage, and educational facilities, and so forth, and all the way down. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the 2017-18
Okay.
required local effort
All right.
mill levy.
We're going to go down the road like we usually do? Okay. I'll move that the Clay County School Board adopt the 2017-2018 tentative proposed required local effort mill levy of 4.190 with a proposed amount to be raised of $46,715,185. The RLE millage includes basic RLE of 4.185 and a prior period adjustment millage of .005.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Ms. Studdard, a second by Ms. Condon. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Our next item is to adopt the 2017-2018 Basic Discretionary Operating Mill Levy. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the Clay County School Board adopt the 2017-18 tentative proposed basic discretionary millage of .748 with a proposed amount to be raised of $8,339,608.
I second it.
I have a motion by Ms. Condon, a second by Ms. Bola. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Isn't it nice when that works, right?
Our next item is to adopt the 2017-2018 Local Capital Improvement Fund millage, mill levy. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the Clay County School Board adopt the 2017-2018 tentative proposed capital outlay millage of 1.500 with a proposed amount to be raised of $16,723,813.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Ms. Bola, a second by Ms. Gilhousen. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Our next item is to adopt the 2017-2018 total mill levy. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the Clay County School Board adopt the 2017-2018 tentative proposed total millage, which equals 6.4380, with a total amount to be raised of $71,778,606. The total millage rate to be levied is below the rollback rate. It is a decrease in the rollback rate of 0.47%.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Gilhousen, a second by Ms. Studdard. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Our next item, item 7, is to adopt the tentative 2017, 2018 through 2020-2021 Educational Facilities Plan. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the Clay County School Board approve the 2017-2018 through 2020-2021 5-year educational facilities plan.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Ms. Studdard, a second by Ms. Condon. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Madam Chair, you didn't vote on the previous.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
oops.
Oh, I think
sorry.
it was me. I'm trying to vote.
I think they voted for you.
Oh, did
Thank
they?
you.
Okay.
Oops,
So we need to vote on this one electronically.
right.
Jeez. We got ahead of it.
Has it come up for you to vote?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. There we go.
Got caught up in the fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, our next item, item 8, is to adopt the 2017-2018 tentative budget, all funds, and set the public hearing for the 2017-2018 final budget for Thursday, September 7th, 2017, at 6 p.m. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the Clay County School Board adopt the tentative budget for the 2017-2018 school year as follows. The general operating in the amount of $297,072,373. Special revenue budget in the amount of 30.
It's not the right amount.
no,
It's
no.
not billion. it's
Not
short.
billion.
Oh, million.
Please don't say billion.
I'm adding. I'm trying to give Miss Piva some money.
I'd like to have all that money.
Whoa.
All right, let me try again. It's a little warm in here. Okay.
We wish it was
We're all
billion.
about to sweat to death.
All right, let me start over. Okay, the Clay County School Board adopt the tentative budget for the 2017-18 school year as follows. General operating in the amount of $297,072,373. Special revenue budget in the amount of $31,234,097. Debt service budget in the amount of $6,326,122. Capital outlay budget in the amount of $51,756,820. Total final budget of $386,389,412, and that the School Board of Clay County set the public hearing on the final budget for Thursday, September 7th, 2017 at 6 p.m.
I second it.
All right, I have a motion by Ms. Condon, a second by Ms. Bulla. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I tried, Miss Piva.
That was a good one.
That was.
In all the years that we've never had anybody make a motion to have a budget in the billions.
The next item is Resolution 18-01, determining the 2017-2018 tentative millage. And I will read that into the record. Whereas the School Board of Clay County, Florida, did pursuant to Chapters 200 and 1011 Florida statutes, approve tentative millage rates for the fiscal year July 1, 2017 through June 30th, 2018. And whereas, at the public hearing and in full compliance with Chapter 200 Florida statute, the School Board of Clay County adopted the tentative millage rate for fiscal year 2017-2018 in the amounts of the required local effort tentative millage levy 4.19, proposed amount to be raised $46,715,185. Basic discretionary, the tentative millage levy 0.748, proposed amount to be raised $8,339,608. Local capital improvement, tentative millage levy 1.500, proposed amount to be raised $16,723,813. The total millage levy is 6.438, and the total proposed amount to be raised is $71,778,606. The total millage rate to be levied is less than the rollback rate by 0.47%. Now therefore be it resolved that the School Board of Clay County adopted each tentative millage rate for the fiscal year July 1, 2017 to June 30th, 2018 on August 1st, 2017 by separate vote prior to adopting the tentative budget. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Resolution 18-1 determining the 2017-2018 tentative millage.
So moved.
And
Leave it simple. I'm not going to repeat all of that.
Oh,
Sorry,
you might ought to read what's on your sheet.
That the Clay County School Board approve Resolution Number 18-01 determining the 27-2018 tentative revenues and millages levied for fiscal year 2017-2018.
I'll second.
thank you. I have a motion by Ms. Bola, a second by Ms. Gilhousen. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. All right, our next item is Resolution 18-202, adopting the 2017-2018 tentative budget. And I'll read it into the minutes. Resolution 18-02, a resolution of the School Board of Clay County to adopt the tentative budget for fiscal year 2017-2018. Whereas the School Board of Clay County, Florida did pursue it into Chapters 200 and 1011 Florida statute approved tentative millage rates and tentative budget for the fiscal year July 1, 2017 through June 30th, 2018. And whereas the School Board of Clay County set forth the appropriations and revenue estimate for the budget for the fiscal year of 2017-2018. Whereas at the public hearing and in full compliance with Chapter 200 Florida statutes, the School Board of Clay County adopted the tentative millage rates and the budget in the amount of $386,389,412 for the fiscal year 2017 through 2018. Now therefore be it resolved that the attached budget of the School Board of Clay County, including the millage rates as set forth therein, is hereby adopted by the School Board of Clay County as a tentative budget for the categories indicated for the fiscal year July 1, 2017 through June 30th, 2018. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Resolution 18-2 adopting the 2017-2018 tentative budget.
I move that the Clay County School Board approve Resolution number 18-2, adopting the tentative 2017-2018 budget.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Gilhousen, a second by Ms. Studdard. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. At this time, I have no cards for presentation from the audience. Mr. Superintendent, Mr. Davis, do you have anything you'd like to
I do not.
discuss? All right. Board members, Ms. Gilhousen, Ms. Bola,
Thank you.
Ms. Condon, Ms. Studdard? May either. All right, with that, thank you for coming out today, and the meeting is adjourned.